Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're doing fine. I'm doing fine as well. It's 11 p.m. here today, Saturday night, and I told myself that I can't put this off any longer. Decided to, start up a podcast about a week ago because I felt like there's a lot I could share. But all those things where you put something on your to-do list and it just stays there forever and you're like, what the hell? I know this is important, so I need to do it. Anyway, this is my introduction podcast episode 1, and I thought I'd, do a quick talk on self-doubt. So, I saw this question in a book a few days ago that said, what what have you done that your self-doubt would have stopped you doing otherwise? So it's more about things we like we're kind of surprised we achieved, if that makes sense. And I thought of three on the spot, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna share it on my episode 1. So it's going to be quick fire. I'm just going to mention the three. Number 1 is a university scholarship. Number 2 is an award I won when I was in my second year. And number 3 is kind of like landing my current job. So the first one, when I was 16, that's when I got accepted to Loughborough University to do my undergrad. So at that time, I was living in Nigeria, and I was a straight A student in my sixth form. It was pretty exciting, and I remember Loughborough University. They used to do this international undergraduate scholarships for people who were high achievers. It was a scholarship that would reduce your first year tuition by 25%. But you had to apply for it. No, you didn't have to apply for it. Sorry, that was wrong. Actually, like, you couldn't apply for it. It was up to the university to highlight those people from their applications and extend scholarship offers to them. So my elder brother found out about the scholarship, and he said you should email them and tell them to consider you for the scholarship. And I said no, that's not how it works. It clearly states on the website that you're not to apply for the scholarship. Like, if you are good enough, the admissions team will spot your application and extend the scholarship offer to you. And he was like, don't listen to them. Apply anyway. And when he says apply, it just means email them and just ask. And I was like, okay. I was still a bit skeptical, but I said, you know what, it's just asking a question, so I might as well give it a go. I sent an email and I said, hi, I'm a student, I'm from Nigeria, I actually have an offer to study here, and I've made straight A's in all my subjects. Here's my results attached. Is it possible to be considered for the scholarship? Now, they didn't reply me saying, oh yes, we can consider you. They literally replied me and said, hi, we're happy to extend you the scholarship. Here's the official scholarship letter. Just like that. And I was like, what the hell? Like, if I did not ask the question, I would have literally just not gotten the scholarship. So, okay, maybe it's not too much of self doubt, or more of, going a bit past the status quo. Like, if the norm is to just sit down and wait and to be approached, how about being proactive? So maybe that doesn't have to do too much with self doubt. But I do think it maybe would have affected me, because kind of the only reason why I sent that email was to get my brother off my back, so that it wouldn't be as if he told me to send an email and I didn't. If you had let me just do my own stuff, I probably wouldn't have sent the email, because I would have felt, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, yes, I got like all A's, but I'm sure loads of people get all A's. They must be looking for something else. Anyway, that was just crazy, and it really, I mean, I haven't forgotten it till today, so it was really something. And it's something I don't do very often, but it's a nice reminder. Like, just go for it, even if you think you wouldn't get it. Just go for it. Like, a lot of times, especially in our adult life, if you go for something and you don't get it, the worst that can happen is just that they say no. That is all. Like, no one's gonna physically harm you, no one's gonna kill your baby. Like, they'll just say no. I know that was kind of like an extreme example, but yeah. The second thing was in my second year. So in my second year, I started coaching sports, and I used to be an assistant dance coach, if that makes sense. So at Loughborough, there were three tiers of sports. There was the inter-hall sports, there was recreational sports, and there was performance sports. Performance sports are people who compete at local level, regional level, international level. Inter-hall sports was between the accommodation halls, like the residencies, and then recreational sports was just people who wanted to play casually every week. And with each recreational sports, there's a dance coach, and there's something called a rec sec, which stands for recreational secretary. So I was a recreational secretary for dance. And we used to have these sessions every week. I was really pumped about this because I liked to dance, and I still like to dance, even though I don't do it very often. So I liked to dance, and not only did I like to dance, but I love choreography. I love putting on music and creating a routine from scratch. And so a lot of times I didn't, wait for the coach to take control of the whole class. A lot of times I suggested, you know what, I'd be more than happy to lead this class. I'd be more than happy to lead that class. And so it was very exciting. I led so many classes where actually you're not, as a rec sec, it's not expected of you to lead classes. You're just meant to support the coach. But I led a lot of classes. I became quite innovative with like recording the classes so the girls could see themselves dance afterwards. Like it was incredible, and there was almost no week that had any cancelled session. There was always good turnout, and it was great. Anyway, fast forward to the end of the academic year, there was the sports awards night, and I had been nominated to for like rec sec of the year. Now it's really funny because um I'd known the coaching awards night was coming up, but I did not buy a ticket to go. It was just about £5, but I did not buy a ticket to go because I couldn't be asked to go for an event that, to be honest, I literally didn't even consider that would win an award. So I didn't care. At that point, there were so many things going on that summer in terms of like just like parties and awards and dinners and everything, and I just wanted to skip on this one really. Until one day, one of the people who work in the management team for the sports messaged me and said, "Oh, we noticed you haven't bought a ticket. You should probably buy one because you were nominated for an award." And I was like, "Oh my god." So I bought the ticket and I went there. Even when they were reading out the my category and the people who were nominated, literally I didn't think there was a chance in hell I was going to win, because there were so many nominated rec secs from different sports. We're talking lacrosse, hockey, just amazing things. And then they called my name, and then they said everything that I did, and I won the award. And I was so surprised. I was so surprised because, number one, I know this is terrible to say as a dance coach, but I didn't think I stood a chance with real sports, because there was football, there was hockey, there was lacrosse, like I said, and then I was dance. So the fact that a dance coach won like the sports coach of the year, I mean, that was number one, the perception thing that I needed to fix. And not only that, it was so surprising because I just didn't give myself as much credit at all. From what I found out later on, it turns out I was actually going above and beyond what like a recreational secretary should have done, and people noticed. I just didn't notice, and I would have never put myself forward for that. And even up until the moment that my name was called, I wasn't expecting it. So that's another example of how, if left to me, my self-doubt would have definitely not even let me be in that room in the first place. So that's a good one. And then finally, my third example, I'm sure there's a lot more examples because self-doubt is still something I struggle with till today. I don't know, it's just something, basically, don't be like me. This is podcast one, and I'm telling you self-doubt is terrible, but don't think that just because I'm saying it that I'm fine. Like, I'm getting better and I'm getting more aware of it, but really, really, really is something we all need to work on. So my final example is a job interview that I had for my current job. So I'm a consultant and I work in one of the big four accounting firms here in London, UK. Now, these firms are really hard to get into, and they, for their graduate schemes, they take the best and the brightest from different universities. So when I was invited to go to an assessment center for this particular company that I work at, I was like so convinced that I wouldn't make it past that stage that I did not prepare for the interview. I did not go there with a bag. I didn't go there with pencils, barrows, calculators, nothing. I just turned up. I just wore my clothes and I turned up. Because I told myself, look, I'm not going to get it anyway. So least I can do is just turn up, go home. And it's really weird because I think what happened was, I don't know, somehow I managed to scale through. Mixture, I think it was a mixture of the fact that I was, and I am, hopefully, fingers crossed, but I was quite skilled at the tasks that were presented. They didn't need any specific knowledge. And then the bit that needed company specific knowledge, for some reason, I was able to wing it. But basically what I'm saying is that I was so sure that I wasn't going to get past that stage that I didn't do any preparation whatsoever for the interview, and I turned up totally unprepared. Now I'm really lucky that I got in and I'm really happy that I did, but looking back, it's really scary that I did such a stupid thing like not prepare. Some people might argue and say maybe it's because you didn't over prepare and you didn't take it too seriously. Maybe that's why you were relaxed enough to just be natural. I don't know. That might just be a justification in hindsight. But what I think is that, I was so sure. I don't even know why, but I was so sure that I wasn't going to get in that I just didn't put any effort at all into preparing. And then I got the call the next day that I was moving forward to the next stage. And then that was when the panic set in because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got in. Oh my God. But again, these are 3 examples. So the university scholarship, the coaching award, and me skating through the assessment center of the company I currently work in. And I've been there coming to about a year and a half now. So these are 3 examples where like left to me, my self-doubt would have definitely like just ruined things or not made the most of opportunities. So lesson for today is don't let your self-doubt hold you back. Don't let your self-doubt hold you back. I was talking to a friend today actually, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but he said this thing. He said, if you can get away with it, why not? And I think we were talking about the length of careers and like, people working or basically doing things that are different from what other people would say is normal, but it still works for you. So for example, I think we were talking about tennis players actually, how a lot of times people think if you're approaching your late 30s, then you should retire from playing tennis. Whereas I personally think you don't need to. You don't owe anyone that retirement age. If you're physically fit and you can play and you enjoy the game, the endorsements are coming in, everything's fine, then play till whenever you want to retire. Don't just pander to the fact that people are telling you to retire because it's the age that you should. And I think my friend was like, yeah, that's true, because if you can get away with it, why not? And I think that phrase is really powerful because it applies to everything in our lives. Anytime you see yourself thinking, oh my God, I might not be able to do this, or I'm not sure I can do this excellently well, or blah, blah, blah. Just think to yourself, if I can get away with this, why not? And I know it sounds a bit weird, like you're trying to do something bad, but it does. Context doesn't matter. It's just push yourself forward. Tell yourself, instead of why should I go for this? Why should I go for this promotion? Why should I try this business idea? Ask yourself, why not? And go for it. The worst that can happen is that it doesn't work. And guess what? That's not an entirely bad thing, because now it doesn't work. You can, shift that mental energy into something else and then try something new, because we're human beings and we're versatile. On that note, I'm going to end this podcast. I hope you've liked episode 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to contact me via YouTube and also via my website. And I will also be reading the comments if there's any particular topic that you want me to cover. Goodbye.